I'm elected by my peers, and I do not consider myself to be a big union boss. I also am a regional vice president for the International Union of Police Associations, which represents over 100,000 law enforcement officers throughout the nation. H.R. 413, as you know, provides basic collective bargaining rights for first responders. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 300,000 law enforcement and 130,000 firefighters live in states that restrict or outlaw their ability to have a voice in the job on matters of pay, benefits, and working conditions. This bill will eliminate the need for litigation in many cases. When we have a seat at the table, the need for litigation is lessened. For instance, in 2005, my organization was denied the ability to voice concerns to our elected leaders about violations of the Fair Labor Standards Act. Because of this, we had to engage in costly litigation in federal court. While we prevailed, unfortunately, the county government had to expend thousands of unnecessary dollars in defending a lawsuit, all because we were denied the right to speak to them and to resolve the situation outside of court. In 2009, the elected officials in Fairfax County voted to not fund any employee compensation enhancements. This was done for political reasons and in conflict with county law. Again, we were not consulted prior to this happening, nor were we heard when we brought the conflict to their attention. Again, we have no mechanism outside of costly litigation to resolve this matter. So back to court we go at the cost to our members and the citizens that we serve. Dialogue and mediation are always better than litigation. We need that dialogue so that we can work with our local governments in managing these bad budget years. I'm a native of Vermont. In Vermont, public safety has collective bargaining. Very recently, the Vermont troopers, through the collective bargaining process, negotiated a pay cut to all troopers in order to avoid layoffs that would have cut vital law enforcement services to the citizens of Vermont. This is a prime example of the value of the collective bargaining process. You will hear arguments about how collective bargaining will hinder management's ability to provide for the public safety and will some way bankrupt localities. This assertion is absurd at its face. The opponents of this bill will not want to face the fact that every 9/11 first responder at Ground Zero was a card-carrying union member with collective bargaining rights. This fact in no way hindered their response, nor their commitment to saving lives and giving the ultimate sacrifice. Most states in the nation allow some form of collective bargaining, and they still have found, as with the Vermont example, and countless others, that rank-and-file first responders will answer the call and work with management during good times and bad to provide for the best possible service to the citizens of this great nation. Any claim to the contrary is a slap to the face to these nation's first responders who day after day don their uniforms and equipment and at great peril serve the citizens of their localities. Some opponents of this bill may throw about the notion of public safety strikes as a scare tactic. Every member of this committee knows that striking is explicitly outlawed in this bill and is the first national law that, if passed, addresses the issue. We would oppose any thought of public safety strikes and are glad that this matter is finally addressed. First responders deserve the same rights as the citizens that we serve. Labor and management can and should work together in order to provide for the best possible public safety services to our citizens. This bill allows us to do just that. This bill does not eliminate the right to work laws of this nation. Any assertion that it does is simply not true. In 15 of 23 right to work states, some form of enforceable collective bargaining is allowed and does exist. H.R. 413 is compatible with the right to work tenets. Nowhere in this bill is there any compulsory union membership. It gives me pause to wonder why any manager would not choose to have a dialogue with those that are on the front lines of their policies and procedures when they know at the end of the dialogue they are still in charge and that this exchange of ideas will not dilute their authority, but can sharpen their perception and improve their image and enhance their understanding of the people that they command. As professional public safety officers, we should not have to be subjected to collective begging, while the majority of the nation has collective bargaining in the workplace. Your nation's first responders deserve better than that. I thank you for your time, and I'm humbled to speak before you about a matter so critical to our nation's first responders. On behalf of the International Union of Police Associations, I thank you for your consideration on this critical bill.